Okay, y'all, who should Islam fight next? Now, a few weeks ago, they said that he was scheduled to fight Charles. I mean, they announced this like a week or two after Islam knocked out Volkanovski. So that's what I thought was the fight that was coming up. But now, since Arman Tsarukyan just knocked out Beneil Dariush, they're saying that Arman should be the one to skip the line and fight Islam. But I also saw an interview where Dan Hooker said that Islam wouldn't dare fight Arman Tsarukyan. Like, he said that Islam will retire before fighting Arman because Arman is that dark horse who very well could beat him, because we can't pretend like that wasn't a competitive fight, especially for a debut.
A lot of people argue that Arman actually won against Islam.
Yeah, at the very least, it was very competitive. I mean, at one point he picked him up and slammed him, I think, or took him down. So
I think Arman, he has a dangerous style for Islam, and Islam knows that. He knows that sometimes Charles Oliveira can get wild with his punches, and sometimes his defense is not there, and sometimes Charles Oliveira IQ ain't there too in his fight or his decision making. So he has a higher chance of beating Charles than beating Arman. And Arman, he really don't have any holes in his game. So I think it'd be easier fight night if he fight against somebody like Charles or anybody else. But then again, also, even Justin Gaethje, we don't hear Islam calling out Justin either, you know?
And I want to say this, I think that a few years ago, Islam would have been calling out a Justin Gaethje because there were some holes in his game that he just didn't seem to care about doing anything about those weaknesses or those efficiencies. But
the blueprint of him beating Justin is kind of still there.
I know, but Justin
got a little bit better.
No, but his awareness, his fight IQ, sticking to a game plan, a lot of those things have gotten better.
Yeah, but the thing is, the grappling defense, man, well, we don't really know if that's improved or if he really wants to go to the ground with these guys at the upper level or the guys with these higher level grappling, like the Habib and some of these guys at the top, or these world-class jiu-jitsu guys, even Charles, Justin don't want to go to the ground with none of these guys.
Yeah, but right now, for Islam, he could either be facing, let's say, a Charles, Arman. There's not really anybody else.
Can they sell Islam versus Charles?
Yeah, Brazil.
I don't even know if I even want to see that, if I'm just be honest.
Truthfully, and look, as somebody who was rooting for Charles in the first fight, I think that I saw everything I needed to see.
Because when Charles said that if he can go back in time, he wouldn't change anything, it makes me think that something's wrong mentally there. Like, he don't have any regrets. Anybody have regrets after they lose a fight like that? He made a lot of mistakes. So for him to say, oh, I wouldn't change anything, it makes me think that there's something wrong there. It makes it seem like he don't have confidence that he can beat Islam.
And the thing is, I feel like going into a fight with Islam, Charles will have confidence because we've seen Charles lose and shake back. We've seen him avenge losses, actually. But Islam seems to be very different. Look at the rematch with Islam and Volk. It was nowhere near what we thought it was going to be. And
he's getting better.
Yeah, it was nowhere near the first fight. It wasn't even close. And in my mind, if you did that to Volkanovski in a rematch, and Volk ain't showed too many weaknesses.
Seems like Islam is getting better and he has way too many weapons. Because Volk couldn't really do nothing about him. There was nothing Volk can do against him. It was like, okay, he has too many tools for me to look out for. So we know he can do that to like a lot of these other guys.
And that's why I think that Arman is the only person not afraid of him, because Arman fought him. It was Arman's debut. It was a competitive fight. At the end of the day, that might have been his most competitive fight outside of Volk, if you really think about it. I mean, that was the fight that he actually lost where he got knocked out. But
also, you gotta understand, Islam, in the first Islam and Volk fight, Volk arguably won. So you don't think Arman going back looking at that fight? The moment after the fight where Islam kind of looked unsure on if he was gonna win or not, you don't think Arman got that visual in his head? He's probably looking at, oh yeah, he was beatable at that moment.
Yeah.
He probably showed a little bit of vulnerability there.
And
man, Islam about to opt out. Islam, we know he's trying to do, man. He's trying to get out. He's trying to get out of Dodge. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. But because every fighter need an exit strategy. But okay, let me see. Let's look at the lightweight rankings. We need to see him versus
Justin.
I hate to say it, man. Justin. We need to see him versus Gamrot, Arman,
somebody, man. It can't just be Volk, a 145er, and Charles, somebody you already beat, who even the fights when Charles was winning, he was getting dropped several times and coming back. It's just not feasible to keep winning like that. You know
who the best person for him to fight?
Justin,
because they haven't fought already. Yep. You know, so it'd be new blood. That's something that they can sell.
Even though Justin been up there for a while, we just haven't seen that fight, which we know whose fault that was. But anyway.